It's Black Friday week, and that means that AppSumo has released their Black Friday deals. In this video, I'm going to walk through all 15 of them, tell you which ones I really like, which ones I can't stand, and which ones are kind of case dependent. All right, enough talking. Let's get right into it. Here's the AppSumo deal page. As always, the link will be down below in the description. That is the referral link for this channel. All right, let's talk about Oviond. Oviond is a really nice reporting platform, actually. I have a full review on this if you want to check it out in a little bit more detail. But basically, this is going to be tailored to those of you out there that are serving clients, doing things like running ads for people, maybe doing some social media management, and you want a nice dashboard you can show your clients so they can see the progress of your work. Of course, you could use it if you are a business owner yourself. You want to check and see how things are going. It's really nice to just get a glance. I'll show you some of the screenshots down here in the deal page. Of course, you can check this out on your own, but it's a really nice, usable dashboard. What I like most about it, it's very simple to put together these reports that showcase the KPIs that are important to your business. I know a lot of agencies out there have moved over to Google Data Studio. Maybe they're using some expensive software before. Google Data Studio does an awful lot, although it's not the easiest platform to get going. I think for both, just normal people trying to put together a report, as well as clients, sometimes it's a little hard for them to understand or just to display the metrics that you want to. So Google Data Studio, obviously you can basically make it work with anything if you put enough into it. Whereas Oviond, it's got some integrations. So if you're using the applications that Oviond integrates with, you're gonna be able to pull up some really cool stuff. This one is definitely a good deal if you're in the market for some reporting. All right, let's move over to the next deal, which is WP Reset. You can see it right up here. Now, I think the thing about WP Reset that so many people got wrong is it's a developer tool. It's not a backup plugin. Of course, from the name, you might have discerned that WP is WordPress, and then Reset is meaning it nukes your website. It'll take you down to nothing. Now, that is a free feature. They've got a free version. You can check that out if you're working on a site. You just want to delete everything. You can download that and use it. It does a lot more than that, and so in my opinion, it wasn't necessarily the best name of a plugin because, from the name, it kind of sounds like it's a one-trick pony. It's got a bunch of other features. I've got a full-length review of this one as well. I definitely recommend checking it out only if you fit this particular criteria. You build WordPress websites and you build a lot of them. If you do those two things, WP Reset can be very handy to you. If you're the type of person that does even one site a month, WP Reset may be not the most efficient tool for you. So definitely go ahead and check out my review. Just know that it is not a backup plugin going in. It does do some backup-like capabilities. And without getting too deep into it here, just know that it doesn't back up your full website. It only backups changes, kind of like incremental adjustments, like your time machine if you're using an Apple computer. So if something were to happen and you lost your entire website, you could not pull it off from WP Reset. But it does a lot of other cool things for developers, so check out that review if you're interested in learning more. Let's move over to the next deal, which is SuiteDash. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say right away that I have not used SuiteDash, but I do have some strong opinions on it. Basically, they're not anything related to SuiteDash. It's just opinions on this type of product in general. My issue with SuiteDash is that it's going to be customer facing, meaning that my clients have to log into this application where they'll be able to interact with their project. They'll see the progress of their project. They'll also be able to see their billing and their invoicing and things like that. And you look at these screenshots of these UIs and they're really off-putting to me, right? So I've got kind of a hard rule at our agency that everything clients touch either needs to be handheld by another person. They're showing them exactly what to do, or the user interface has to be a really, really enjoyable experience. And I can tell from these screenshots that they're just not going to be up to my particular standards. Your business might be totally different. That's my opinion. I know a lot of people out there really love this deal, and so I am in the minority on that, and it might be a great fit for you. Just honestly, in general, I have really never found a great all-in-one kind of client portal system that I really, really loved that was able to do every feature that my business needs, right? So it's going to be very particular to the requirements of your business. So for me, this one was definitely a pass, but your mileage may vary. Next up, if there were a classic AppSumo deal, I think at this point it would have to be deposit photos, which is kind of ironic when you think about it because it's not really a lifetime deal. You get 100 credits for $39. Of course, the credits last forever, but it's nothing that reoccurs. So what you can do is use those credits to buy 100 photos or vectors or some combination of the two. They've got some examples of deposit photos. I've got a video on deposit photos as well. They've got examples of the photos they use. As far as stock photography, it is definitely one of the best platforms out there, period. It's going to compare with, the Adobe stocks and the Getty images of the world. Now, they're not going to have quite as many as some of those other platforms, but they are very, very high quality. This is not pixels, kind of, you see the same stock photos everywhere. Do not use those images. It's always best to use custom photography when possible or custom illustrations. But let's be real, we need to produce so much creative content these days. You cannot always use a bespoke photo. So deposit photos is your best investment here. $39 gets you 100 credits. I buy some every time it's on AppSumo, which is generally every Black Friday. All right, next up is Frase. This is an SEO content creation tool. What it's designed to do is help you figure out what questions your audience is asking so that you can write content that answers their questions. Now, you'll know that I've reviewed several applications like this over the years if you've been following along with this channel for a while. And in just about every circumstance, this isn't necessarily specific to Frase, it's applications like this. They all run into the same problem, and that is that they might be very good for one industry or one niche, but for another, they're atrocious and provide zero value. So I can't sit here and tell you, yes, this is a good application for your business. Turns out you're going to need to check this out and see if it fits with your industry, if you're going to get any value from the information it's able to pull out. So if you need to create content for your business and you're looking for a tool like this, now is the perfect time to take advantage of AppSumo's 60-day refund policy. Go ahead and grab a code, try this out, see if it works for your industry. If not, just refund. If it does, cool, you've got a great asset. Next up is Fresh LMS, and I'm just going to go ahead here and say that this is probably not a good tool for me because I'm kind of biased against hosted platforms for major components of my business like an LMS, right? So if I'm doing online training, the platform I put my courses on is going to be very critical to the success of my business. Now, I've not used Fresh LMS, so I'm not criticizing Fresh LMS. It's more the category that they're in. I'm not a particularly large fan of. And if I were to use a hosted platform, I would probably choose one of the bigger platforms. Probably Kajabi would be my selection here, which is going to be infinitely more expensive, than Fresh LMS. Kajabi is very expensive. I think it starts at around $150 a month. But the point being here is that if I can't control the host, that means I can't control the success of my business. If they have some infrastructure problems and the site goes down, I can't just move over to another server. If they have some managerial problems and the business starts to deteriorate, it's going to be very hard for me to export my courses from the platform and move over to something self-hosted, which I probably will learn later that I should have done in the first place, right? So my recommendation for an LMS platform is to choose WordPress. It's the best solution right now. It's not easy, but that's what this channel is around for. I'm going to make more content about how to host your own LMS platforms using WordPress. So that would be my suggestion here. All right, next up is HappyScribe. The idea with this tool is that you'll be able to upload your audio and your video, and then it will spit out a transcript. Now, just to be upfront, this is not done by humans. Of course, this is machine learning or some kind of computer algorithm that's able to decode what is said and then give you a transcription. So know that it won't be perfect just because nothing is. But let's talk about use case here because I think this is a good solution for a lot of people. However, I think it's a bad solution for a lot of people as well. So I want to help people decide what is a good fit for you. Now, let's talk about use case. So let's say you upload a video, get that transcription back. Two things you might want to do with that. One, you could use it for subtitles. That is a great idea. Subtitles are very important. A lot of people scrolling on their phone, even if they can hear perfectly, they're going to read subtitles because they have their sound off. But most of the major platforms are doing this for you already. YouTube will go ahead and add subtitles to videos. Facebook is starting to do the same thing. So I think given enough time, those major platforms are probably going to do a better job than a smaller SaaS provider. Now, if we go I'm not sure exactly what HappyScribe is doing. A lot of these providers will actually end up using like a cloud service, maybe from Google or from using Amazon AWS, where they're actually grabbing their API protocols and they're able to interact with them and give you a nice user interface for their cloud computing. I would guess that's probably what HappyScribe is doing. So they will get better kind of naturally as those other platforms gets better as well. However, Facebook and YouTube are going to do those transcriptions for free. So keep that in mind. When it comes to creating a blog post, well, things get a little bit more complex because it's a very romantic idea that you'll take your transcript and then change a few words and you'll have a nicely crafted blog post. But think about it. Do you speak the same way that you write? Do you like reading transcripts of what other people have said? It's actually a fairly difficult thing to do. So I think you can get a lot of the main ideas out by transposing, spoken word, but it's still going to take a writer to polish it and make it an interesting article. So just keep that in mind. Now, where do I think this is a good fit? I think it really works well for podcasters or medium-sized content creators, even if you're doing video, but you're self-hosting a lot of that and you're not putting it up on the big platforms. If we go down to the plans in the AppSumo deal here, you'll see that it's just like $69, you're going to get 2 hours per month. So if you're doing a weekly podcast, maybe that's going to be enough. You'll probably have to go up to 4 hours, which will be, $138 one-time cost to get those transcripts. If you're doing like 1 hour episodes 4 times a week, that'll pretty much max you out. But you get the point. So those will be good circumstances where, there won't be anyone else to transcribe those for you, and paying to do that would be pretty expensive. If you're just creating a small amount of content, there are services out there, maybe, once in a while you make a video and you want to have a transcript for it. There are services out there that'll do that for you on a case-by-case basis. In which case, investing the $69 might be a good deal, but probably not. You could probably just, get, rev.com or something like that to do it for you. So that's kind of my take on HappyScribe. Overall, not a terrible deal. It's just going to be a little more niche than you might think on the surface. Next up is Ideanote. This is another one that I'm just not a good fit for, so I can't recommend this product. The idea with Ideanote is to collect ideas, as it says right here, right? So it's kind of a folder that you can put all of your ideas into and collaborate with your teammates. We're all working remotely. It's good to be able to have a place to put all of our ideas and then be able to comment on things. But for me, that's going to be Slack or instant messaging of some kind where I can say, hey, what do you think of this idea? Send someone a link, get some quick feedback, and then from there, we can decide whether we want to put it into our project management system. The idea of kind of having an additional folder where everything goes, and then we can kind of, thumb through that to figure out if it's a good fit for later on, seems like an extra task that just doesn't work for my use case. The one thing that is kind of interesting is that you can actually put this on your website and then ask visitors to your website for user feedback. That's a great thing to do. It's a really important part of conversion rate optimization. So that is one thing that I would consider, although I'd probably just choose a dedicated conversion rate optimization tool in those situations. All right, next up is one of my top AppSumo deals of this year, and that is IfSo. This is a WordPress plugin that lets you do dynamic content on your WordPress website. I do have a full video for this one. I will link it down below. The idea here is that you'll be able to send custom messages based on the properties of your user. A really simple idea would be A/B testing, right? So you can send, some traffic to one website and then maybe change the button color and send some other traffic to that and see what gets a better reaction. Another example would be if you work with local businesses or maybe you own local businesses, you could target specific neighborhoods. So when people are in a particular neighborhood, you could put the name of the town up on the page to let them know that you serve that community. Really, with a tool like If So, the use cases are almost endless. That can both be a good thing and a bit of a burden because you have to be creative to think of the best ways to utilize the tool. Next up is another WordPress tool. This is MailPoet. Again, not a good fit for me personally, but I think it is a really popular tool that I know a lot of people are using. The idea here is that it's a transactional email service that integrates directly with WordPress, and it will allow you to send out newsletters and even replace your WooCommerce emails right inside of WordPress. So that is a really nice feature, but I'll tell you the reason that I don't like it. First of all, it's self-hosted, right? It's WordPress. I have to pay for the server that I'm running, but there is a limitation on how many subscribers I can have. Now, I understand why there's a limitation because they are also sending the emails. You can see here that you get 5,000 subscribers per website for a single code. You can stack all the way up to, I believe, 10 codes, giving you 50,000 subscribers. But at that point, you're spending $500. So the idea here is that they're sending out these transactional emails for you, which, if you were to use another service, that's going to definitely cost some money every time those emails get sent. So there is a hard cost associated there. But there's no limitation on the number of websites that I can use. So I really, really wish it were the other way around. I wish you got like 1, 3, and 5 websites or something, and then could have as many subscribers as you want. I think just for my use case here, it's going to make a lot more sense to use something like Amazon SES, where I'm not limited in subscribers and I can build as many WordPress websites as I want. I do see this being a good fit for smaller businesses. Maybe you're running a local business, doing some music lessons or a hair salon. You're not going to get to 5,000 customers where you need to be emailing your newsletter. In that case, it makes a heck of a lot of sense. What would an AppSumo sale be without a project management tool? And I'm very happy that they brought back probably my favorite AppSumo project management deal of all time, which is Nifty. The website is niftypm.com. Go ahead and check that out if you want to see a little bit more. What I like most about Nifty is that they have a very nice user interface. You can see some of the screenshots here. This is something that it has to be enjoyable to use. Otherwise, it feels like work just to log the work that you've done. And that is not a good idea with project management tools. You'll start to see, your teammates stop checking off the checklist, they stop putting the tasks in, and then things kind of start to fall apart in your business because everything's being kept in everybody's own head. So a project management tool, first and foremost, has to be easy to use. I've been using ClickUp for several years now, and I really like it. However, they're suffering from a little bit of feature bloat at the moment where they just keep adding more and more and more and more features, and it's starting to get a little bit overwhelming for teammates, and people don't know where to go or which dashboard should I be using, which view should I be looking at. So I like the fact that Nifty is a little bit smaller in terms of their development. They haven't added quite so many features, and quite frankly, hopefully they don't add a lot of features and kind of keep things focused on managing projects. I will say that if you already have a project management tool, don't just look at the lifetime cost of Nifty, say $49. Oh, that's great. We could save so much money if we canceled our Asana subscription and jumped over to Nifty. You do have to think about retraining your staff. There's going to be a dip in productivity that may completely destroy any actual cost that you'll make up in the one-time fee. So if you're just getting started and you don't have a project management tool, definitely check out Nifty. If you're already deep into another platform, exporting, importing, retraining everybody, that can be a huge headache. So definitely don't do it during a busy season would be my best advice to you. Another one of my favorite AppSumo deals is Publer. In fact, this may be the one that I've used the most out of any deal I've bought in the last couple of years from AppSumo. Publer is a social media management scheduling tool, right? So it connects up to, for me, I'm using it for Facebook groups, Twitter, LinkedIn, and it'll basically take your posts and automatically pull them off your website if you're posting to your website. It's got a great RSS feed manager that they just added actually in the last maybe 2 weeks or so, where it'll automatically import your latest posts, and you can very easily have those go out to your social networks either automatically or you can approve them before they get posted. Of course, you can also just compose things right inside of the editor. You've got a calendar, and you can have teammates and everything to get things managed. I do have a full video review of Publer. We'll link to that down below if you want to see more about this tool. All right, the last row, we only have 3 deals left to talk about. Quuu is also a social media application. The idea here is that when you're needing to fill up your Publer calendar, you should find some content to post. Quuu is something that will give you recommendations for content that might be interesting to your audience. I've had mixed results with applications like this. I've not used Quuu. Personally, it just doesn't really fit with my philosophy for how you should share information online. Now, I will say this knowing up front that people have jobs as social media managers and they have to share content, they have to get engagement in order to keep their job. I get that. But on the other side of the coin, I think the more people that share kind of useless content just because they have to fill some quota to meet some magical metric that is supposed to improve their ROI actually makes social media less useful for all of us because it raises that noise floor and the actual real interesting messages don't shine through. So Quuu, now this is an interesting application because I actually really like it from a business point of view. I think it's kind of brilliant what they did. So there's another deal that was on AppSumo called Quuu Promote. And what it did was you could pay to promote your latest piece of content. And then people who were subscribed to Quuu would see that content and share it on social media. So from a business perspective, they're getting people on both sides of the equation. They're charging people to promote their content, and then they're charging people to find content to promote. So, you can't get more full circle than that. I think it's actually a pretty ingenious idea. It's similar to the SEO tool in that you might have great results in your niche or for your audience, but then someone else who's just tangentially related can't find anything that's interesting to them. So this really is, if you're looking for content, if that is actually a problem that you have, this is something to worthwhile trying to see if it's good for your industry and then take advantage of that refund if it doesn't work for you. All right, next up is Video Peel. This is another one that I have a full review on. So the idea with Video Peel is that it's a simple way. You can send this out to your clients and they'll get a little link. They press a button. They can record a video testimonial for you. As you can see here in the little screenshots, you can even have them sign away their rights to make sure that they know it's going to be posted publicly. And the idea here is that, you'll get all of these video reviews. You can then post them on your website and the sales will come pouring in. Now, I completely agree that video testimonials are a huge driver of sales. It's something that, a lot of people really, really look at when they're considering a product. But the problem is getting customers to actually record the videos. And I'm not sure that, a button is really going to do it. I think the part that scares people is not the tech know-how, although it's a good excuse. The part that scares people is they don't like being on camera. They don't like recording something, even if they truly love a product or service, they just don't like doing it. It's kind of awkward and I have to say something and I'm not sure what to say. I'll stumble over my words. Making videos, being on video is not something that a lot of people really enjoy doing. Take a average company Zoom call. It's, boring and awkward and, most people do not like seeing themselves on screen. So I think that this is a good product in concept. This is kind of summarizing my actual video. I think this is a good product in concept. I think it's still gonna be pretty hard to get video testimonials out of people, but this is worth a shot. My main hang up with it is the UI. Kind of going back to the point I made in SuiteDash. If we look at some of the screenshots here, they just have kind of odd choices for how things are laid out. I think they've improved that since I actually made the video review. I think things have gotten a little bit more streamlined, but that's something to keep in mind. Last point I will make on this is that I did see people complaining about the video quality. And I think the thing you forget about here is that not everyone is recording these videos on their smartphone. A modern smartphone is going to have a pretty good camera, going to be able to capture, reasonably high frame rate video. But if you're using a webcam, especially a webcam on a laptop or a webcam connected to a USB 2.0 port, that's going to be low frame rate video and it's going to look pretty bad. A lot of people will sit down at their laptop thinking it's a better camera because it sits on their desk and it's what they do their Zoom calls on and it'll look really good. But it turns out your smartphone is always going to look better. So that was one complaint I saw about Video Peel that I didn't really feel like was fair because the frame rate is I don't think Video Peel is doing anything to the video to make it worse quality. I mean, someone out there, leave a comment down below if you have proof that they are compressing the video and then like stripping it down to 12 frames per second. But I think that's mostly going to be a computer related issue. And last but not least is viral loops. This is a classic AppSumo deal. It's been on AppSumo several times, dating back several years. The idea here is that you can create referral programs similar to, you can see a few of the templates here, but it's similar to a lot of they did a great job of mimicking successful referral campaigns and then kind of building a template for it. So one that comes to mind is the Dropbox referral campaign, right? So this is refer a friend. You can see the little image right here, where in Dropbox in the early days, they became so successful because if you signed up for Dropbox, you got some free storage space. But then if you told your friend, you'd get some more storage space. You can tell up to like 10 friends to max out your free storage space. Well, they build that right in. And the nice thing is this integrates with a ton of platforms. You can see some email providers here like Klaviyo and HubSpot and MailChimp, but it also works with WordPress, Webflow, Shopify, and Facebook Messenger. So really it'll connect to whatever platform you're already using. This is a pretty solid referral program, referral system. Definitely would recommend it if you're looking for an affordable way to run some referral campaigns. I've seen some of my favorite companies, my favorite software companies using this exact tool to give away their software. All right, so let's talk about how you can save the most money at AppSumo this Black Friday. There's a couple things I want to mention. First of all, they've got a coupon code for the first time ever. Save 10% when you use BF2020 at checkout. Now, you do need to spend at least $150 in order to take advantage of this coupon, but this is the first time AppSumo has ever done a discount during Black Friday. When we think about AppSumo, it's kind of a discount platform. We go get cheap software there. You'd think they'd have the best Black Friday deals, but they don't really ever do that until this year. They usually just bring back old deals at full price. Well, now you're actually getting a little bit of a discount. You also don't need to have a Briefcase or Plus membership in order to get that 10%. You just have to spend $150. Now, does that mean it's not worthwhile to get either of those? Well, I would say probably don't sign up for Plus to get the 10% off, right? Because we're going to get that if we spend at least $150. Plus itself is $100 a year. The Briefcase scenario is a little bit more complicated because they've changed recently over the last year or so. They've changed how the Briefcase credits get used. If you're not familiar with Briefcase, here is the website, Briefcase HQ. This is an AppSumo official deal. I know it's a different site, so it looks kind of like it's shady or something. But the idea here is you spend $150 every 3 months with AppSumo and you get 4 vouchers worth $49. So $150 to get 4 $49 vouchers, not such a bad deal. However, you can only apply 1 voucher per purchase. So if I were to buy something like Fresh LMS, which is $99, I could only use 1 voucher on that purchase. So I would still have 3 vouchers left. So I'd have to buy maybe a second code or maybe another deal. I could buy HappyScribe, take $49 off that purchase. You get the idea. You're going to need to do a little bit of math to figure out if a Briefcase membership is going to be a good investment for you. The simple way to think about it is if you're buying a lot of $49 deals, it probably is going to be a good investment. But if you're buying only a few deals and they're more high priced, those $99, $79 deals, then Briefcase might be a little bit more of a slippery slope for you. Before you go, I want to recommend that you head over to profitable.tools and click right up here where it says Black Friday. I'm curating a list of all of my favorite deals from around the web for this Black Friday week. You can go ahead and do some shopping. And this is a little bit different than just another list of deals that you can find. I've actually gone ahead and given my feedback, albeit brief on some of these, what I think of these deals, who I think it's a good fit for. Additionally, you can always leave a comment on one of those posts or head over to the Facebook group and ask your questions there. I'm happy to give you some buying advice so you make wise decisions for your company's tech purchases. All right, that's going to do it for this video, but make sure you get subscribed, hit that notification bell. You know the drill. I've got a lot more content coming out this Black Friday week. So stay tuned and I'll see you in the next video.